What is going on, guys? It is your model of the IWC Gamers Goon here today with the fourth day of Goonsmith. As you can see, we do have a guest on the channel. Not for the first time. He's been on the channel a few times. I've been on his channel recently. How's it going, Indigo?
Gamers Goon. What's up, bro?
Not much.
Thank you again for having me on the channel.
Of course, of course. And when I wanted to make a video about the top 5 matches of 2021, I thought who better than Indigo here. You might not know it, but Indigo's big into the New Japan scene, the Stardom scene. I have not watched much of either company. I have started getting into Stardom and New Japan a little bit more, but I can't speak as heavily on those matches as he could. So we're gonna have a little bit different of top fives, but it should be a pretty good video here. How you feeling about your top 5, Indigo?
So when you first told me about this video, bro, I didn't want to like bullshit you or your audience. You know how I am. And I really thought about this list that I gave you, and I'm confident in these matches because every match that every match that the both of us will name were bangers of this year. By that I mean you could go back and literally sit there and watch it as if you're watching it for the first time. And I can't wait for you guys to hear what we got.
Yeah, it should be great. Should be a great show here today. Um, for my number 5th match of the year, we're gonna count down from 5 all the way up to 1. For my 5th one, I have a recent match for us. It's MJF going up against Darby at Full Gear. Now, in my opinion, this was the best match on Full Gear, if you ask me. Love this match from top to bottom. It was a phenomenal technically wrestling match there. Um, do you remember that match, Indigo, and what was your opinions on that match?
You said Darby and MJF at Full Gear.
Yes.
Um, well, like I said in my Full Gear review, bro, that was the match of the night. You can't really argue that because those two set the tone for the rest of the show. By that I mean the other wrestlers really had to step their game up if they wanted to top, but they did. And no disrespect to Kenny and Hangman Page because they fucking killed it. But Darby and MJF, they had a chip on their shoulder that night, in my opinion. They went out there to really shut the haters up because those two guys receive a lot of criticism in that company.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very good choice, bro.
Appreciate it. And like you said, Kenny and Paige, no disrespect to you, either of them. But if this was a top 10 list, they probably make the top 10 for the year. But it's a top 5 list, so we're gonna have to leave them out. But shout out to that match. It was a pretty damn good match. Who do you got at number 5 for the 5th match of the year, in your opinion?
Um, so my number 5. This is a tough one, but my number 5 would have to be my girl Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair at this year's WrestleMania. I forgot what number this year's WrestleMania was.
37.
Thank you, bro. 37. This how much I don't care, bro. But WrestleMania is just a name nowadays, honestly.
Oh, I was close to putting one of the WrestleMania matches in my top 5. That's the only reason I know about which year it is, because I looked it up to watch it over again.
There was also another match that I wanted to put on this list from that same WrestleMania show, but Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. This this match right here was special to me, not only as a fan of Sasha Banks, but I also love Bianca Belair as well. She's a star, and these two made history, not only main event in WrestleMania as two black females. They, I would say, outside of Roman Reigns match, they had the most hype going into the show. Because if you guys remember, WrestleMania was last. It was booked last minute.
Yep.
Like, just look at the card and the matches we got. Outside of the Bad Bunny match, because he killed it, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, like I mentioned with MJF and Darby, they had a chip on their shoulder, and they wanted to go out there and give us a banger, and that's what they did. Sasha Banks is for the future of women's wrestling, so she had no problem with dropping the title to Bianca that night, despite how the company has treated her over the years ever since she's been called down to the main roster.
Yeah. The part that made that match special to me is everybody wanted to see Bianca Belair win when it was the Royal Rumble. Everybody wanted to see Bianca get that opportunity at WrestleMania. Something that sometimes the WWE seems to fumble the bag with, and they don't really go with who the fans want. And at that time, the fans really wanted to see Bianca win the championship at WrestleMania. And surprisingly, they gave it to us. It was a great match. For me, it was the second best match on that card behind the Roman Reigns match with Daniel Bryan and Edge. But that was one of the best matches that the women have put on all year long, especially in the WWE. Love that match. So that's definitely a great choice for the fifth one. But then we take it up a notch. We're going to go to number 4. And for me, I have, once again, another recent one with Grand Slam, and that is Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega at Grand Slam for AEW. Phenomenal match that they put on. It wasn't that long ago, so maybe some recency bias, but that was the first time we really get to see Bryan Danielson put in his work in AEW and see what he can do against who a lot of people are considering one of the best in the world to do it right now, in Kenny Omega. And they had a hell of a match. What was your reaction when you watched that match down on Grand Slam?
Well, as you know, bro, I was there live. That
Yes.
was my first ever wrestling event ever in my life, and that was one of the best days of my life. Um, it felt like a party when I was there, like legit. You told me, a lot of my other friends told me about going to an AEW show. That's the atmosphere. It feels like a party. Everybody legit wants to be there. It's just
Yeah.
pro wrestling fans enjoying what we love. And um, Brian Danielson and Kenny Omega. Now Brian Danielson came in at All Out along with Adam Cole. We know how good he is. He's coming out of a WWE run, which will be one of the best of this modern era. Daniel Bryan character in general, and you know, whenever he steps in a wrestling ring, we're going to get a great match. Same with Kenny Omega. He's one of the best in the world. Definitely one of, if not the wrestler of the year, if you ask me. And Brian Danielson he's not that far behind in that conversation. The match itself, I was not on my phone the whole time. My eyes was glued to the ring. Well, the monitor. I watched on the monitor, bro, instead of looking down in the ring. Well, I did both, but I was mainly watching it from the monitor up. And they went 30 minutes. I still haven't watched the episode of Dynamite back, so I can't really say about the commercials and shit. But they went half an hour. You wouldn't have seen that at WWE. This was on TV, free TV. This wasn't on a pay-per-view or nothing. And it just showed how much Tony Khan loves us New Yorkers, and he wanted to give us a great show that we not never gonna forget.
The part about that match specifically that I loved is on my list. That is the only match that wasn't at a pay-per-view. They
Yep.
they really hit a home run with putting that match in New York right after All Out, keeping the momentum going from that great show that was All Out. Um, Spoiler: I do have an All Out match on this on my top 5, but they did a phenomenal job putting it all together. And coming out of All Out was probably one of the most exciting times in professional wrestling that I can remember. Obviously, I wasn't there for the Attitude Era times. I wasn't there for some of the stuff that happened a little bit before my time. But as a wrestling fan, that was probably the most excited I've been for wrestling, was going into big shows after All Out, like Grand Slam, where we got great matches like Bryan Danielson and Omega. We got the Moxley match. We got a bunch of different shit that just was. It made you have your love for wrestling just reignited. It was a real good time to be a professional wrestling fan. But what for your fourth match? What was your fourth match? Why was it your fourth match?
So my fourth match,
Yeah.
um, I think I'm gonna start with this one. So I'm gonna branch outside of American wrestling with this one. Like Gamers Goon said to you guys, nowadays I don't watch American wrestling outside of AEW, of course, because WWE isn't where it's at no more. I'm a New Japan and Stardom guy. That's my favorite promotions right now, and that includes over AEW itself. Don't get me wrong, you AEW fans, don't get in your feelings. I love AEW. My match, my next match, bro, is Naito, Naito versus Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom 15. And let me tell you guys a little history about Wrestle Kingdom real quick. It's it's WrestleMania. It's what WrestleMania should be. If I'm being honest with you guys, WrestleMania nowadays is just a name. I remember growing up in the Attitude Era, when WrestleMania came around, like you had that feeling like, yo, this is gonna be a night that you can't miss. You gotta watch it live. And we don't get that nowadays with WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania this year, for example, half of WrestleMania I was on my phone. I wasn't paying attention at all. Outside of the matches that we cared about to see, other than that, like it felt like a regular episode of Raw or SmackDown. You don't get that with Wrestle Kingdom or New Japan shows in general. Now this year's Wrestle Kingdom, I also want to say Wrestle Kingdom. They always start the wrestling year off right. They, there's never been a bad Wrestle Kingdom ever. So this year is all about Ibushi. Well, earlier this year I should say, majority of 2020 was about Ibushi, but this year we all wanted him to become the double champion. At this time, Naito was the double champion, holding both the IWGP World Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships. And Ibushi was on a mission to not only win those titles and defeat Naito, which he's never done in his career up to that point. He wanted to merge the titles and create one new world championship with him being the first. To this day, I hate the design. It looks like the Divas Championship, if you ask me. No disrespect to Shingo, because he's one of the wrestlers of the year. If you guys don't know who he is, Google him. You're welcome. And Naito also had a chip on his shoulder that night because he didn't want to lose those champ. He recently won the championships back from Evil, and he was on a mission. He didn't want to lose. He still wanted to represent New Japan, and the match happened, and it's one of my favorite New Japan matches of all time. If you ask me, I've been a fan of New Japan since eighth grade. That would be 2008, and I've seen a lot. But those two, they got great chemistry in the ring. Ibushi time was now at that Wrestle Kingdom, and even Dave Meltzer. I don't follow him, but I was curious to see what he thought of the match, and he gave it. I think he gave it five and a quarter star. I think, yeah. If you guys didn't see it, it's on YouTube, so check it out.
Unfortunately, I'm one of the people that have not seen the match. Me and Indigo were talking about this before we got on. That I'm a little bit behind on New Japan. I'm still getting into it, so I haven't seen some of these matches that he's gonna be recommending. But that's why he's here to put us on to some good matches that we can go look at up on YouTube. Um, Definitely go check out that match. I'm gonna go want to see it, but everything I've heard from that match seems to be good. And I believe you're right. When I was looking at Meltzer's scale before doing this, it was rated at a 5.25. So definitely a high quality match that you guys can go watch out. That Wrestle Kingdom show did give us two matches that were exceptional. That were both above the 5.0 scale of Meltzer. So definitely go check out that show. I'm gonna have to go see some of those matches that were rated very high because I want to know. I want to know what I was missing out on. But definitely go check out those matches. But for three, I know Indigo watched this match, and it wasn't Indigo that put me on, but it was Kevin who put me on, who was put on by Indigo, and that is Utami versus Yuri at Stardom Tokyo Dome Cinderella, the special edition show. Um, I would love to put this match higher. It was a long match. I think it went about like 50 minutes or something like that. Because it was a two-part match. They went to they went into a draw, then they ended up having to do it again, and then they both just did not. Neither woman ended up winning. But it was a phenomenal match. They did it very brilliantly. Utami and Siri, they hard hitters. If you haven't seen either of them wrestle, I would very much recommend it. Because I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea who either of these women were until Kevin told me to go check out that match, and I did. It was a great decision because that was probably the best women's match that I've seen that was not Sasha and Bailey at Takeover. So definitely shout out to both of them, and they're the ones that kind of got me into Stardom a little bit. So I'm starting to watch some of their matches on YouTube. So great match. Um, I believe this is on Indigo's list, if I am correct. Is this match on your list, Indigo?
Yes, it is, bro. And shit, I was thinking, should I talk about this now or after the next pick? Cause
We can wait. If we can wait.
all right,
What's your number three?
so my number three, you gotta give me the name of the show, bro, because I forgot what takeover this was. Wait, no.
Oh no,
Yeah, I
Takeover.
forgot. Walter versus E. Yeah, I'm about to
Ilya
butcher his name.
Dragunov.
Yeah,
That was Takeover 36. I do know that because it is on my list.
yeah.
But yeah,
So you guys see my shirt. Um, we all know WWE sucks. It sucks in the creative department. Business wise, yeah, they making bank. This is the most money they ever made ever since they became a public traded company. We know all of that. There's two certain wrestlers that I try to go out and support. There's three right now on top of my head: Sasha, Roman, and Walter. Whenever they on the show, I'll try to go out my way to just support them and watch their segment or match. And whenever they off screen, I turn the shit off. Um, Walter, he's a fucking beast. I've been a fan of Walter since 2016 now. Yeah, 2016. He had a match with Minoru Suzuki. If you guys never saw that match a day in your lives, it's on YouTube, I'm sure. You're welcome. And ever since that match, I've been a fan of Walter. NXT UK became a thing, and he shortly after his debut, he beat Pete Dunne, who was the longest reigning NXT UK. Well, I would say one of the longest reigning champions in that entire company's history. Walter dethroned him, and he has been on a fucking terror reign with that championship, and there was nobody to step up. It's like you, Tommy. Like there's a presence about Walter that you can't teach, and he he's a throwback wrestler. Like you see, he oozes that charisma, and he had no challengers. He beat everybody, and then there was a newcomer that came in NXT UK. It was just he was just racking up wins after win. He finally became number one contender, and Triple H, Triple H was like, "I'm not going to do this in the UK. I can't." Because if you guys didn't see their first match, you guys gotta see their first match.
Their
Their
first
first
match was
match,
really good too.
yeah, I would probably say our first match was better than this match that we're talking about right now. As soon as that bell rang, that shit was just it was just action. Now, I want to bring up this Walter and Igor,
Ilya Dragunov.
bro. I don't want to butcher his name because I have a lot of respect for him. These are two wrestlers that you won't see nowadays working that type of style. By that style, I mean especially Dragunov. He if you guys don't know, he does MMA on the side. He's one of these same with Walter. They fuse the MMA. If you guys don't know, the wrestling style has evolved. Ring of Honor, Ring of Honor really set that trend because they blended the UFC style with wrestling, and Dragunov, and he does that shit so effortlessly. And same with Walter. Walter works a stiff. Not everybody could hang in the ring with Walter, especially on that WWE roster. A lot of them were trained through that bullshit system that they got in the PC. Yeah, it's a good training system, but when you step in the ring with guys who got experience outside of that shitty ass company that hasn't been in that system training in the PC, you ain't gonna hang. And Walter and Dragunov, they had the best match on that show, and that match is on my list for a reason.
Yeah, that match is on my list as well. It is higher. Um, love that match. One of my favorite things about that match is, like you said, they both work a very stiff style, and you don't really see that much in the WWE at all. And it feels kind of like New Japan in a sense that they're going out there, they're wrestling stiffer than probably what is recommended for a WWE star. But like you said, Walter, he just has this presence about him. He's a larger than life guy. He does a lot of things that you don't think he could do. He wrestles a very technically sound style. It's really great to watch. And like you said, it wasn't like this match was something that we didn't know was going to be great, because this match last year when they put on their first one, it was in my top 5 last year as well. So I assume that the second one was going to be pretty damn good as well. But you said that you did have the Utami match a little bit higher. Is that your second match of the year?
Yes, sir, it is. I was debating, bro. I was like, I don't know which one to put above. They both, the Walter match and the Utami match, excuse me, it's equal to me. um, but that match, like you said, bro, it gave me Sasha and Bailey vibes. I haven't seen a women's match that great since that match, and you know how high I am on Utami. I put you onto her. That's how high I am on her. I want more people to see who she is and what she could do in the ring, because we will see her in America one of these years. I'm gonna
Hopefully
say
in
that now.
AEW. Hopefully not in WWE.
Yeah. Because look at Saray. So you guys don't know about Saray. She came from Stardom. She's really good, and they're gonna bury her because they bury her now. We haven't seen her on NXT since the Triple H. Since Triple H signed her. and she hasn't been on TV since. Correct. I could be wrong. I don't care about NXT nowadays. Don't you know? You tell me. This I said this about Walter. She oozes charisma. She oozes this special charisma about her. You watch her interviews with the other Stardom wrestlers, and she's there with them. Like you can tell who's the star. I'm not disrespecting Tam or nobody else. I love all those women, but Utami is she's the best women's champion in all of wrestling right now. That includes Charlotte, Becky, and Britt Baker. I don't really care who I offend. That's just the facts. This woman is 23 years old. Keep that in mind. And you would think she's a fucking 20-year veteran. The way she carries herself, and I like stuff like that. Now, Siri, it's the same with Walter, bro. Utami defeated everybody. Been a champion for a year now. Is you could even include Roman Reigns in this on this list. She's conquered them all. There was really nobody on her level of that came close, and Siri was that only person. Now, Tokyo Cinderella Dream, I believe that was the name of the show that this match took place. Yes, Tokyo Dream Cinderella. Like Gamers Goon said, it resulted in a draw, but that's the match itself. I can't recall the match move by move. It's on YouTube now. If you guys want to check out Utami, I would definitely recommend that would be the first match you ever checked out. Cause that again, I don't, I don't fuck with Dave Meltzer like that. But again, this was another match that I was curious to see what he thought of, and he never gave a women's match this much stars ever. This match was a five and a half stars, and again, like I said, no other women's match in history. This Meltzer's been doing this longer than we both been alive here since the 80s. So he's seen a lot, especially with women's wrestling, because he watches Joshis. He loves Joshi wrestling. Joshis in the 90s, I heard they were badass. They were beasts in their own right. But he never gave those matches that high, such high praise like that. And I'm saying this now. So Siri, she's going to dethrone Utami because they facing each other again. And I'm not going to be mad when Utami drops the belt because she doesn't need a title at this point. If I'm being real, bro. Um, and this match is higher than the Sasha and Bianca one for the simple fact that, like you said, bro, with Walter, like this style is Sasha Banks could hang with Joshis. She studies Joshis all the time. Be, Put Bianca in the ring with somebody like Tommy. Bianca isn't gonna hang. She's not, and that's one of the reasons why this is higher than the WrestleMania match because these two women wrestle. They wrestle like dudes, and I love it. So if you guys want to get into Stardom, that definitely hit up Gamers Goon and he'll hit up me and I'll recommend something.
Yeah, definitely. They got some good matches over there. I was missing out. I was told to check it out. Pretty damn good decision. It's a lot better than the women's wrestling we get over here in the States. So, like you said, Utami is, I would agree, better than Britt Baker. A little bit of spoiler alert for the next video that's going to be posted on the channel with Indigo. Utami made my top 10, and Britt Baker did not make my top 10 this year. So, I mean, you can piece the puzzle together. But Utami, she's definitely killing the business
And,
right now.
and Britt Baker had a fucking fantastic 2021. Don't get us wrong. Like
Yeah, she was one of the MVPs for AEW.
a match that I want to put on my list. That's I would say a special case will be the Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker match. You can't leave that match out. That happened this year, right, bro?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
you can't leave that match out. Because, like I said with the Utami match, Dave Meltzer also rated this match pretty high. And for somebody like him, especially with American wrestling with the women, that just shows how I love women that takes this serious. Like they not just about the looks, they not just a pretty face. Like they want to get in there and give us a banger. And Thunder, you step in the ring with Thunder Rosa, like you gotta be on your A game, no matter who you are.
Yeah. If you think
Well,
about who Meltzer's rated, he's watched Io Shirai matches when she was there. He's watched Tony Storm. He's watched Jamie Hayter. He's watched Kyrie Sane. He's watched all these women, and for that to be the highest rated match,
Dakota Kai.
yeah, that tells a lot about how great that match was. Unfortunately, it was only my third match of the year because the second one I had to give it a lot of love because I was there. One of the greatest matches I've been to that was not Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate is the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in the steel cage match at All Out. It might have
Oh
been just be,
man,
it might have just been because of being in the crowd. The crowd was into it. Everybody
that
wanted to see the Lucha Bros win. They put on a hell of a match, and the Lucha Bros actually did win. So that might be why it's rated so high for me. But just watching that match in person gave me a whole different perspective on how great that match was. I'm not sure how it came off on TV because sometimes people be like saying that the crowd isn't a lot as lively as what the crowd claims they are being. So maybe it didn't come off as great on TV. But
nah, it did, bro. It did.
for me, that match was one of the best matches of the year. That's why I got it at number two.
I just want to say this about AEW. Um, I grew up during the Attitude Era, and one of the reasons I love AEW so much, it gives you that vibe of the old days. Like yo, especially you was talking before we recorded. Dynamite is every week. Tony Khan gives us something that you can't miss, and that was one of the reasons why the Monday Night Wars was so successful, especially in WWF, because it was can't miss TV, and especially going to a show live, it felt so old school, bro. Like you see people with signs. You don't see that nowadays. I remember growing up, you would see a fucking sea of signs, and I love AEW for that fact that it's giving a lot of people, even if you didn't live through it, such as yourself, like you get a feel of it, because
Yeah,
that's what wrestling is all about, you know.
like yeah, like you said, signs used to be like a staple in like wrestling crowds. My favorite match ever is the WrestleMania 26 HBK versus The Undertaker. I know a lot of people say it wasn't the better one of the two. It's my favorite because HBK, I grew up loving HBK. He's my guy. That was his last match. But in that crowd, there's signs everywhere. You don't really see that much anymore, but AEW kind of brought that back, which is it's just a whole different atmosphere. It actually feels special again. It feels like something that's worth putting your time into nowadays rather than something like the last few years where you're just watching it because you're hoping something great happens, but it never really happens.
Exactly, bro. I can't wait. One of these days, me and you, we going to an AEW show. I can't wait.
I'm down. Anytime, I'm down. Might have to do one of those big shows, one of those weekends, a full gear, all out, something like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about going to All Out next year, bro.
If you're going to all out, I'll be there up in Chicago. I'm
Already
always going
know.
to be at that pay per view. But And your second match was the Ochami match, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that leaves us with one more match left for who we think had the best match of the year. And for me, you already mentioned it, but for me, I love this match. I love their first match. It was Walter versus Dragunov 2 at TakeOver 36. I went back and watched this match last night after I put this on to my list because I love this match up and down. Dragunov, like Indigo said, he wrestles a stiff style. He is a guy that I look at. I don't think he's as strong and can take as much of a beating as what he did take in that match. He is one tough motherfucker. It's really awesome to watch. Um, but as we already said, they kind of wrestle that New Japan style, and seeing it in NXT was awesome. But like Indigo also said, I feel like that was probably the only part that made it maybe better than the first match is that Dragunov finally won the championship. But both of those matches were bangers. Indigo already spoke about it, but Indigo, what is your last match, the first match of the year for you in 2021?
Oh, before I say it, bro, I just want to say that by default NXT UK is the A brand in WWE. I
Yeah,
want to say that because NXT UK deserves more love because they got fantastic wrestlers over there.
it's a shame that they don't like promote NXT UK like at all. They
Yeah, they
literally
used to, bro. On
yeah,
NXT
they
when
used
Triple
to
H was
on the
still on,
network,
yeah.
but
Even when they moved to USA, like they still used to promote it, but now that Vince and Bruce they really there now in charge. If they not there, then they got Shawn Michaels as the puppet working for
oh
them.
yeah, you saw what Shawn Michaels said earlier today. He
Oh, he
said
said
something.
something today.
Yeah, he said something today. It was NXT is the only brand that's bringing true fresh talent, and they will be stars in WWE.
What the fuck is he smoking?
I'm about to
Shawn
say,
Michaels smokes weed. If y'all guys don't know that,
I read that. I was like, does he know? Does he know that Darby Allin, MJF, Sammy Guevara, does he know that they exist? What do you mean you're the only one bringing in
does he
fresh
know that
talent?
he personally trained somebody that he said himself he sees a lot of him in, which is Adam Cole, and he jumped ship. And it's gonna be the same with Johnny Gargano. Ciampa is gonna
Johnny
retire.
Gargano's
You
gone
know,
soon too. He signed that extension. He's going to get them through War Games, and where do you think he's heading? He's going to
and
be on that
Johnny's
same
only
kind of
doing this
direction.
because of the legacy of Triple H's NXT. I feel like he did. I feel like he didn't want to let Triple H down. Like he wanted to do this final match because he's out. Same with Candice. They gonna add more time on her
They
contract because
will.
she's out. But she's good as gone as well. He's not staying.
There's no
I'm
reason
sure
for him
she's
to stay.
seen Beth Phoenix left. Vic Joseph is a puppet, and same with Wade Barrett. Like NXT, man, I don't know. If you're still watching NXT, you're wasting your time, in my opinion, because we all know these people's fate.
Hey, but
I'm not be
I've been
trying to be
told that
funny.
Carmelo Hayes is the next best thing in NXT.
That may be true, but when he gets called down, are they gonna push him? Let's be real. Look what they did to Swerve.
Look at what they did to Andrade on the main roster.
Swerve, bro. Malachi Black, they had him sit in the fucking closet collecting dust.
Samoa Joe couldn't even do anything on the main roster. What's Carmelo Hayes gonna
Exactly,
do?
bro. They Joe again, I'm not trying to be funny. Joe might be on, if not already, if they release him quietly and we don't know, he might be on that next list.
Yeah,
But enough about WWE. I just wanted to just show you NXT UK some love because like I said, they the number one brand by default and they don't get a lot of love. That's hence my shirt. Y'all see the shirt? Um, so my number one, Gamers Goon talked about it. I'm really happy he put this on his list because we talked about it before we recorded. I do not know how it came off on TV because I still haven't watched it back. I might do that today now that we're talking about it. That Dynamite show overall, I'm gonna go back and watch it because I haven't recorded. I remember, bro, when I went, I made sure to record that Dynamite, like, just in case I ever wanted to go back and watch it. Um, Brian Danielson versus Kenny Omega at AEW Grand Slam. I'm proud to put this on my number one. Yeah, you might say it's biased because I was there. You could say that, but that's not entirely true. These two, I always wanted to see them go at it. They wrestled before. If you got, I tell gamers doing this all the time. It's all my other friends. A lot of you guys missed out on not only Brian Danielson's run before he came to WWE, but a lot of these guys, the elite, um, the Good Brothers, Finn, guys like that, KO, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong. You guys missed out on a lot of their. You guys missed out on a lot before they came to WWE, and before they became known, before they became as popular as they were. They were popular back then, but now like everybody knows who they are. Last time these two met in the ring, bro, was 2009, and that's on YouTube. If you guys want to check that out, and this was one of the reasons Brian left WWE. I found out today that this is his last ever full time run, bro, as a wrestler.
That's
So
so sad.
people bitching about, oh, he wrestles every week on TV. This is why you geeks, you guys need to understand that this is his last run as a full time wrestler, so we gotta enjoy it now. That's why he's out every week giving us bangers.
You gotta enjoy it before he turns into Goldberg.
Yep. But he's gonna be better than Goldberg because he's actually gonna be there for the wrestlers of the future. He's gonna be helping people out. He's still gonna be putting people over, and I guarantee you, he's gonna be a part of the creative team because he was a part of creative before he left. It was him and Edge. Edge is still a part of creative, but Edge don't give a fuck about that job. He's just focusing on his comeback run, which I get. But Edge could still contribute as much as Brian did. Because Brian, yes, Cesaro is back in catering, but he helped put Cesaro over in that feud with Roman after WrestleMania, I believe it was, right?
Yeah.
And did he wanted to wrestle Kenny Omega so bad. That was one of the reasons why he came to AEW. He also wants to wrestle in New Japan, which we will see sometime next year. Just keep that in your heads because we will see him on New Japan soil soon. And this match right here, man, the ending left it. The ending of this match left it. They left another match, another future match when Kenny comes back. This is far from over. But Kenny worked this match hurt, and you wouldn't have known that he was hurt if you don't follow the dirt sheets and shit like we do. You would have thought that he was fresh coming in, and soon as I, soon as that music hit, we all was on our feet, bro, and we was on our feet the whole match, like that whole 30 minutes. Especially me, I didn't sit down at all, and that was one of the greatest wrestling matches I ever saw. Like you said, with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker at WrestleMania 26, bro. One of my favorite matches of all time is their WrestleMania 25 match. And I know I said this earlier. Kenny Omega and Brian Danielson, what they did at Grand Slam, Like you can go back at any time and watch it back, like as if you're watching it for the first time. And like I said with AEW, that match also gave me an Attitude Era vibe, meaning like, yo, this is a big match right here. You can't miss this. It don't matter what you're doing, even if you watched it at home, you couldn't miss this show. This was their first time coming out here. They they outsold what WWE did. Cause people ask me why they go to the MSG show, bro, and I said I'm not. It's a waste of money and my time. I'm gonna be falling asleep in there. And the same with the Long Island show coming up. Unfortunately, I can't go to the Long Island show, but they outsold what WWE did when they came out here this past week.
WWE just can't sell. Period.
And
Survive.
they coming back. They coming back here, bro, on the 20 after Christmas.
WWE sucks.
Like, why would you want to waste your money and your time with your family to go to MSG on Christmas
Oh,
or after Christmas?
I found out there's gonna be a WWE show up in near Chicago before Christmas, and I looked at it. I
Are they
was like,
coming back out there?
yeah, I'm gonna be back home. I was like, should I go? And I was like, no, it's WWE. I'm not going. But I was looking. I was like, nah. Wait a minute. If it was AEW, I would have gone. I'm not trying to waste my money. But
it's just they outsold Grand Slam. They over outsold based on what Tony said. And I got to see Tony Khan in person, bro. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, this is the man. This is the man that gave us everything that we wanted for all these years in terms of American wrestling. And I'm in the same building as this man. That was what was going on in my. I'm sure you thought the same thing, bro. I know
yeah,
you have.
Tony Khan's from my hometown too. Tony Khan's a great guy. I love him.
Yeah, he does a lot of business out here. He loves New York as well.
But Tony, we're
And
gonna have to get you on that Northwest trip soon. We're gonna have to get some shows out here. Let's get off that East Coast, Tony. Give me and Kevin a few shows out here in
and
Oregon.
they will come, bro.
Yeah, they're coming next year. I don't know when though.
And
Probably Portland though.
this match, if this match isn't on your list, I don't know what you have been watching all year.
If it's
Unless
not on your list, you were just watching WWE. That is.
they probably got some iconic matches or Nia Jax.
Are they even there
Excuse me,
still? Shit. No, they got
Nia
that.
Box.
They got that WrestleMania match.
Yeah, before we recorded that match, I told you about when Dana exposed herself and Mandy bust her ass. That was the match.
That
And
was their
then they
match
got
of the year right there. All
then they,
five of Eva Marie's matches were probably top five for him. But
and when Dana Botch won the 7-Eleven title the other night. And yeah, I don't know what if you guys been under a rock, but if you didn't see this match, check it out. A lot of people, everybody had to seen it by now, but if you haven't, I don't know where y'all been.
yeah, it was a great match. It's in both of our top five, so definitely if you haven't seen that match, what are you doing? Just go back and watch it already. But that's gonna do it for the top five matches of the year for 2021. I would like to thank Indigo for coming on the channel for this video. Indigo, how can they find you? Where can they find you? I know you got a YouTube channel. You got Twitter. Go ahead and shout those out for us.
Yeah, subscribe to my channel, Indigo Uchiha. You can follow me on Twitter at the same name, at Indigo Uchiha. my recent videos, I review Tokyo Super Wars. Um, I don't review Dynamite every week because there's no need for me to do that. But I review Dynamite when it's important, when it's really important stuff for me to give my thoughts on, such as the MJF and Punk segment. I reviewed that. That blew up, surprisingly, bro. I guess a lot of people wanted to hear me talk about it. And review Survivor Series. I did Full Gear. They're on the channel. If you guys like the New Japan stuff I talk about, definitely check me out.
Yeah, definitely make sure you go check out both his YouTube channel and his Twitter. Great wrestling mind, as you can tell, very similar in our style of thinking when it comes to wrestling. But that wraps it up for today's video of the fourth day of Goonsmas. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe here, leave a comment down below. Like the video. If you're not liking the video, I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, you know where to find me. You're already watching the YouTube channel, so you know where my YouTube is. So, but you can find the Twitter at GamersGoonYT, and we'll see you guys next time.